Thanks, Coach Zoltak. Johnny spent a lot of his time working with the North Adams Park and Recreation Commission. And some of those members are here tonight from that commission. Johnny Greenbush, Bruce Patino. Is Joe Maruco here? No? And when I think of those guys, I know Mark Vadnais is on that commission. And I think of some of the other basketball officials, Jimmy Borowski, Paul Collier, and they all meet frequently with that commission. And actually, I figured out a criteria to get onto that North Adams Park and Recreation Commission is you have to be legally blind. What did I forget? Oh, how could I? Vinny, you're down here, believe me. And you are legally blind. No. Now, at this time, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce to you probably North Adams' most eligible bachelor, Don Dagnoli.
You may not always get the details right, but there's no question your heart is in the right place. It's really an honor for me to be here, and I promise I'm going to be really quick. Think of me like a naked man climbing a barbed wire fence. I'm going to try to get over it as quickly as I can, and hopefully I'll just touch on a few points. This party for John Georgie brings back a lot of memories about John and the Summer Basketball League. First of all, John always wanted great players in his league. To begin with, he was blessed with two sons who are both great players. Al, simply put, you are a legend. No one could take over a game on defense or dominate a game like you. Neil, you somehow always got it done. A big man with a soft touch is tough to stop in any league. Not only are these two guys great players, but they had something extra too. They're fierce competitors who play to win, and I'm pretty sure they got that from their father. There have been other great players in the basketball league over the years. Here's a few that just come to mind real quick off the top of my head. Dave Martinelli, Brent Kipp, Manny Benjamin, Dave Vidal, Aaron Dupuis, Mike Callahan, Joe Vanuni, and Jack Reset. Sound familiar? Yep. They were all on the same team at the same time with Al and Neil. I think a lot of teams went into the Summer Basketball League looking at the Georgies team and said, we don't have a chance. So they got in the league to have fun with their friends or just to work on their game. Or maybe they said, let's just play in the B division. But I'm going to let Harry Sheehy talk about the B division later. All right, so the glove was thrown down, and winning the North Adams Summer title became the goal of a lot of great players in this area over the years. And we've seen players like Bernard Alexander, Bill Bledsoe, John Mulcahy, Glenn Tatro, Tyrone Gadsden, Pat Duquette, and Harry Sheehy over the years. I am not a great player. Read the scouting report. I stink. And you can put that in the transcript if you want. But I've been really lucky over the last 6 or 7 years. I was able to team up with 5 guys with the last name Steinman who know a little bit about basketball. Right away, we became the chief rivals for the Georgies team. Every year, we knew we were going to face these guys in the finals. It was just that way. And over the course of the regular season and the finals, every game was unbelievable, very memorable. And as Todd Steinman said, we developed a healthy respect for our rivals. Yeah, some of our games were rough, maybe too rough. And who else but John could throw Neil's team out of the league and then let him back in just to face us again. It was good for the league. It was good for the league to have two really strong teams going at it. Some people thought that John showed favoritism toward his son's teams. Well, what parent wouldn't root for their children? I personally know John to be a man of integrity. And I know that John had what was best for the league at the top of his agenda. John has done me some favors over the years, and one particular instance stands out in my mind where he did something for my team that might not have been in the best interest of a certain other team, but it was definitely in the best interest of the league. Anyone who thinks that John made a bundle of money running the league, you were right. Actually, nothing's farther from the truth. But it was the refs that were getting paid way too much money. I don't know where you got some of those guys. I never really appreciated what John was doing until 3 years ago. At that time, Chris Lamar and I took over running the Winter Basketball League. Take it from someone who knows there is not a monetary reward for running the basketball league. There's so much time and commitment involved. I know that John was doing this for the love of the game. I think he loved to see guys competing hard to the best of their abilities, whether it was A Division, B Division, or just little kids. Sure, there are a lot of unforgettable moments and unbelievable plays, and John was right there, keeping detailed stats and giving recognition to the players that deserved it. He wrote great newspaper stories, and anyone who was around for the season-ending award ceremony, you knew that John ran a class league. No offense to anyone, but John, you ran the best league around. I just want to say thank you for all the great times and for doing an awesome job. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks.
You can wander around. That's more important, actually, isn't it? Yeah. Great. Well, it's just an honor to be here tonight and to honor John. And I look around the room, I see so many familiar faces. It's been great. Like Mike Bloom, you know, I spent a lot of nights in the Key West during those years. Actually, it was pretty good. And I actually remember a couple of them. And now I turn on the TV, you're on television. So, unbelievable. I look over here, Jack Rissett. How many people in the room refereed games in John's summer basketball league? Who refereed? If you refereed, just line up at the door, because if you reffed a game that Jack Rissett was in, you got $50 coming tonight. Extra money. It is great to be here. I don't know how many of you know my dad. My dad has a way of kind of separating the wheat from the chaff, Coach Z. By the way, I will say this, that all those things that Mike read would have been totally impossible without Coach Frank Zoltek being with me all those years. My dad has a couple of sayings that I've lived by. One, which I won't use the French, but one of his sayings, this will give you more of a flavor of my dad. There are more horses' asses than horses. Yeah. That's one of them. But more importantly tonight, he always told me that when all is said and done, a lot more is said than done. And that's why I'm here tonight, because John Georgie did. Every time he'd show up at a game, the people who were supposed to be there were there. The leagues came off. I had the most wonderful experience. When I retired from Athletes in Action, the day that I retired, I went in to tell my coach that I was retiring, that I was going to go. I was 29, 30 years old. I had played almost 600 basketball games in those 10 years, and I didn't have a whole lot left in me. And we had played UNLV, UCLA.